Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, everyone is continuing to stay safe and healthy during these times. Just a few announcements as well as an overview of the schedule before we invite our speaker up for tonight. The schedule for the following nights will be as follows. So from 5:30 to 6, we will have our children's program. It is called the Ramadan Show, and it is on the Saba YouTube channel as well as the Kiss Kids channel. If any parents have any things that they would like to share as those projects that have come out of the channel or any pictures or videos, please do send them over to info@kissakids.org. Following that, from 6 to 7, we'll have Quran recitation. And as many of you know, it's a collaborative effort between all the Bay Area centers to put this program together. So it's exciting to see us come together during these digital times. And then from 7 to 7:30, we'll have Dua Iftitah. From 7:30 through Iftar, we will have a speech by Maulana Rizwan Rizvi. This week, we will have a special program every night, and the new starting time will be at 9 p.m. So please see the weekly email or the Saba app for more information regarding those special programs. Speaking of tonight, we will have a Jashan for Imam Hassan alayhi salam in all 4 languages. We will start the program at 9 p.m. with Dua Majir. Additionally, we will be hosting a drive-in iftar for the Nazar of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, where anyone from our community can come to the Saba kitchen and pick up a contactless iftar meal. We hope this small gesture keeps our community spirits up as we move to the second half of the month of Ramadan. Again, this pickup will be available on May 10th, this Sunday, from 5:30 to 7:30. One final announcement is Saba has started an iftar drive for those families especially struggling during these times. Saba will be packing bags of food for enough for a family of 4 for the week. If you or someone you know needs this service, please tell them to pick up the bags on Sunday or Monday from 12 to 2 p.m. right outside the Saba kitchen. And you can find more information about this, or if you prefer delivery, there is a form as well as a link provided below in this YouTube description. So our speaker for tonight is Seyed Ali Musawi. He was born and raised in Southern California. After studying Middle Eastern history at the University of California, San Diego, he traveled to the holy city of Qom, where he began his Hausa studies. He spent 8 years studying there with a particular focus on Islamic jurisprudence and history. He's currently active with Noor Collective Center in San Diego. It is his last speech with us, so we would like to thank him for his time and knowledge that he's given us. And with that, please invite our speaker up tonight with a loud salawat.
أعوذ بالله من شر الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Tonight we will be continuing with the topic that we began last night, the topic of tawakkul that we unfortunately were not able to finish due to the time constraints that we had. So last night we began with this idea of tawakkul, and we went over how tawakkul is really this concept of relying upon Allah. It is this concept of trusting in Allah's plan that He has for us, and ultimately knowing that whatever difficulties that I'm going to go through, Allah is the one who is going to get me through this difficulty. So this is the idea behind this spiritual state that we know as tawakkul. Now, I was going through a few questions one at a time, and the 4th question, which I didn't get to, is the question of what are some of the benefits of developing a higher level of tawakkul, and how does this help me in my day-to-day life? That if I go ahead and I go through the trouble of developing tawakkul, how is it going to benefit me? What are the benefits that I'm going to see in my life? So the first benefit, my brothers and sisters, of having the state of tawakkul is that it allows us to see the world as it really is. The reality is that this state of tawakkul, it is how the world is. The problem is that the way that we are viewing the world, it's actually not the reality. That when we look at an individual with wealth, we think as if that individual, he has that wealth in and of himself. And so we go and we seek that wealth from that individual. What tawakkul really teaches us is that that is an illusion. That ultimately, although we live in this world of cause and effect, Allah is the one that He is in full control. A practical example from the movie world is those of you who've seen the movie The Matrix. If you remember, this is a movie that came out maybe 10, maybe longer. But in this movie, this individual was living plugged into this matrix. And when he was finally able to pull himself out of that matrix, he finally saw the world as it really was. Before that, he was living in what was an illusion. That when he ate and he felt the pleasure of eating, it wasn't really a real pleasure. When he walked around, whatever he was doing, the whole thing was a setup. And so when he finally unplugged himself, he saw the world as it truly is. That is when he gained that level of freedom because he saw the reality. We as well are also living in this world of delusion, my brothers and sisters, that when we look around, we think that these individuals and these people, they have the power. But the truth of it is that Allah is the one who has the power. When we look at a person who has wealth, when we look at an oppressive ruler, we're thinking to ourselves, I better be careful, but this individual, he has this independent power in and of himself. Tawakkul, it shows us that this is not the case. Now, when we begin to see the world as it really is, something else also begins to happen. And that is that we begin to gain a sense of independence and a sense of honor. How? How does tawakkul help us to gain a sense of independence and a sense of honor? How does this work? When we look at a hadith from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, we find that he says something beautiful. He says, verily, independence and honor are in a state of travel. Just imagine that this state of independence that we all want, this state of honor that we are all after, it's as if it's traveling around, it's trying to find a home, a place where it can take up residence. The Imam, he continues that verily, independence and honor are in a state of travel, and when they come to the place of tawakkul, they take up residence there. Wow, what a beautiful statement. That if you want honor, if you want independence in this world, then take up tawakkul. Attain that spiritual state of tawakkul. It is that which will give you true honor and true independence. Now, some of you might be wondering, how does it work? How is it that if I begin to understand that Allah is the one that is the power behind all things, then how does that get me independence and honor? The answer is as follows, that the problem that we have is that we begin to believe, because of this world of cause and effect, we begin to believe that, for example, rizq is in the hands of human beings. And so when we look at an individual that is wealthy, our boss, whoever may be in charge of giving us that wealth, we begin to feel a sense of lowliness. And so when we approach our boss, when we approach a wealthy individual, when we approach a political ruler, we will bend our neck a little bit in hopes of receiving what that individual has. We make ourselves haqir, we lower ourselves in front of these human beings. But if we understand that rizq and honor and power and all of this, it is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it becomes easy that we stand up straight and we deal with people as human beings. We don't deal with them as if they are God. And so it is through these means, my brothers and sisters, that when you become an individual that practices tawakkul, Allah gives you independence, Allah gives you honor in this dunya. So this was the first benefit of having tawakkul. The second benefit, my brothers and sisters, is that when we have tawakkul, it lifts a huge psychological burden off of our backs. If you think about it, A lot of the anxiety, a lot of the feelings of undue stress that we feel in our day-to-day lives, it's caused because we feel that we're alone. And if I'm alone in this world and I'm looking around and there's all of these issues which are dangerous, there's all of these things that I have to face and confront, I feel very weak, I feel very incapable, I'm not able to do anything. I'm going to be defeated, I'm going to be crushed. But when we begin to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who has the power. That yes, cause and effect, it exists, no problem. But in the end, Allah is the one who is going to get me through these difficulties. When we begin to think like this, my brothers and sisters, it eases the anxiety that we feel, it eases the stress that we feel, and we become much more relaxed in the way that we are living our lives. So this was the second benefit of having tawakkul. The third benefit of having tawakkul is that which is difficult, it becomes easy. And that which we feel is impossible, it becomes possible. In a hadith by Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, he mentions this beautiful tradition that whoever has tawakkul, that which is difficult will become easy and the means will fall into place. Life is difficult, my brothers and sisters. It's full of challenges. And in many cases, when I look at the challenges that I'm facing, I feel I'm going to be defeated. This is insurmountable. And I think you all have been in these situations as well, that you look ahead of yourselves and you're saying, there is no way that I'm going to be able to go forward. There is no way that I'm going to be able to get through this. But then you remember that Allah is the one with the power. You attain that state of tawakkul. You put one foot forward and somehow you get through that difficulty that you were having. If you think about it, you have no idea what happened. You have no idea how you got through that state of difficulty, but somehow something got you through it. We realize that it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He connects the means. It isn't you who made anything happen. It is Allah that, although you were putting in your own effort, Allah made that which was impossible, He somehow made it possible for you. Another aspect that we find in the Holy Quran is that when you have tawakkul, Allah explains it in this beautiful verse of the Quran. He says, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. That Allah, He says that whoever is wary of Allah, He is going to make a way out for him and He is going to provide for him from where he couldn't even imagine. And then the verse, it continues and says, whoever puts his trust in Allah, tawakkul, Allah is going to suffice him, and indeed Allah is going to carry through His command. Allah is telling us a beautiful thing in this verse, my brothers and sisters, that if you trust in the world of cause and effect 100%, and you don't recognize my power over everything, then I'm going to leave you to that world of cause and effect. You're going to have to swim in that world of cause and effect. You're going to have to deal with those issues of cause and effect. But Allah is saying that if you trust in me, if you entrust your affairs to me, then know that I am the one who controls everything. I will allow that world of cause and effect to work to your benefit. Doors are going to open to you that you never could have imagined. This is Allah's promise. That if you have this state of trusting in Allah, Allah is going to get you through it. And He's going to open these doors that you could have never imagined. Now, my own personal experiences, when I was in the Hawza, I personally saw this many times. That an individual, it looked like it was the end for him. It looked like that there was no way forward for him. But somehow the situation would change and he would get through that situation. One of the shuyukh that I knew, he had recently gotten married. This was many years ago. And his father had told him that, my son, I'm going to support you for a period of 2 years. So for 2 years, I'm going to support you. You just got married. You're studying in the Hawza. There's no issue. I'm going to support you for 2 years. But once that 2 years is up, I don't want you to become spoiled. I don't want you to begin to think that you can depend on me the rest of your life. No. I want you to become independent. So after that 2 years is up, you're going to be on your own. This sheikh was telling me the story. He says that when the time was coming that the 2 years was ending, he says, I didn't know what to do. I have a wife that we've just been married for 1.5 years. I have a son that was just born. I didn't know what to do. Soon I'm going to be out of a place to live. I'm going to be out of an income. He said, but there's tawakkul. There's this trusting in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I entrusted in Him. And when that time period was almost to an end, it was that 1 or 2 months before that 2 years was going to be over, he says that suddenly somebody gives me a phone call. I pick up the phone. I say, who is it? He says that I am a merchant in the city of Qom. And I have been looking for a talaba, I have been looking for a scholar that you are studying for the sake of Allah. I want to buy this talaba a home. Just like that, my brothers and sisters, he buys his home, and now this individual who had nothing, he has this paid off house that he's living in. And of course, the rest of it came as well, that he searched and he looked, and Allah suffices those who trust in Him. And to this day, he's, alhamdulillah, living a comfortable life. He's continuing his studies in the Hawza, and his life is going in this way. So many times, my brothers and sisters, through this idea of tawakkul, through this idea of trusting in Allah, Allah is going to open these doors that we didn't even imagine. Because many times, we are looking for something, but Allah has something else in mind. And He's going to give us what we're looking for in a different way. He's going to open another door for us. Inshallah, Allah will give us this tawfiq of attaining this state. Now, the next question that I wanted to ask is, how do we build and how do we maintain our level of tawakkul? There was a few very short points that I wanted to mention before moving on to the next topic for tonight. That the first of the ways that we can maintain and we can build our level of tawakkul is by always reminding ourselves that Allah is in control. Many times, because we're living in this world, we begin to forget. And as we forget, we begin to go after the cause and effect, and we think that that is what is going to get us what we want. So here we have to remind ourselves on a daily basis, many times a day if necessary, that Allah is the one in control. One of the things that sometimes benefits me is that I put up a sticky. I know it's a little bit funny, it's a little bit maybe low tech, but I take a little sticky and I write a little note to myself on it. I put it somewhere where I can see it on a daily basis. And then every time I pass by that place, it reminds me of what I wanted to be reminded of. Sometimes it's as simple as that, just writing ourselves a little sticky, putting it somewhere that we see, and that is going to be enough that over a period of weeks or over a period of months, we can begin to really understand that concept and absorb it and attain a level of spirituality. The second thing, my brothers and sisters, that we can do is we need to maintain realistic optimism. Because a lot of times people, they ask this question. They say, is Islam a pessimistic religion or is it an optimistic religion? Which one of these is it? When we look at the Holy Quran, the verses that Allah has revealed to us, when we look at the practices of the Ahlul Bayt, the worldview of the Ahlul Bayt, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Ahlul Bayt, the Anbiya, we see that all of them were realistic optimists. Not that kind of fluffy California-style optimism, no. They were realistic optimists in the sense that they understood the reality of this world. But while understanding the reality of the world, they were optimistic at heart. How do we know this? We know this that, for example, if we're looking at Allah, if He wasn't optimistic in relation to His creation, if He didn't have the best perspective in regards to us, then He would have already destroyed us. He would have already looked at this situation that we're having on this earth. He would have said, let me just end it, let me just finish it. What's the purpose of this? In fact, when you go back to the verses of the Quran, the angels, they were looking at us, at Bani Adam, and they were asking Allah, Ya Allah, look at these individuals. This is a destructive race of people. Allah, He tells them that I know something that you do not. Allah, He has that level of optimism in regards to us, my brothers and sisters. He believes that the place of every one of us is in paradise. Now, we just have to make ourselves worthy of it. The rest of it is up to us. When we look at the Ahlul Bayt, we see that the Ahlul Bayt, they are in the most difficult of situations. A lot of them, they spent a good chunk of their lives in prison, being oppressed. We see that all of them, they reach the station of Shahada. They don't die natural deaths, they are killed. But throughout that entire process, they understand that this oppression is not going to last forever. These rulers that we see ruling over us, they are oppressing people, they are killing innocent people. Eventually it's going to come to an end, and eventually our Imam is going to come, he's going to fix all of this. There is a level of optimism in our religion, my brothers and sisters. And so if I want to attain that station of tawakkul, I also need to have that level of realistic optimism. The problem is that if you lose that sense of realistic optimism, if you lose it in your mind, if you lose it in your heart, then what is going to happen is that you've already lost. Because many times Allah, He's going to give us a solution to our problems, but the solution is not going to look like that which we were expecting. And so if we've already lost, if we've already become pessimistic, we've already given up, then we're not going to be looking for that solution. And if Allah delivers it to our doorstep, then we're not going to notice it. We have to be optimistic, my brothers and sisters, so that when Allah, He blesses us, we're able to see that blessing and we're going to accept it. The third point, my brothers and sisters, in regards to how we can maintain a level of tawakkul, and this is going to sound strange, is that we have to put ourselves in precarious situations. We have to put ourselves in dangerous situations. Now, what in the world am I talking about? Am I saying that we should be doing dangerous things? We should be rock climbing? We should be mountaineering? We should be swimming and going deep into the ocean? We should be scuba diving, whatever it is. Is that what I'm saying, that we need to be doing dangerous things? That's not what I'm saying, my brothers and sisters. What I'm saying is that many times when we live our lives, we build lives of utter safety. We build a wealth cushion because we're afraid of the consequences. We build a type of life that is at the utmost of safety, that the cars we buy, the homes we buy, the neighborhoods that we live in, all of the things that we do, we are doing in order to have the safest life. There's nothing wrong with this, right? We need to be safe in our day-to-day lives. But when it comes to the way that we live our lives, when it comes to the way that we practice our religion, we also play it safe. How? We also play it safe in the sense that when we want to give charity, we hold back. When we want to give from our time, we hold back. When we want to give to the religion of Islam, we hold back. We're trying to play it as safe as possible. We just give the pennies or the quarters that is left in the bottom of a pocket, metaphorically speaking. If you want to gain that state of tawakkul, my brothers and sisters, you can't live in the safety of the shadows. When you give, you have to give. You have to really put yourself out there, and then you have to see that I've put myself in this situation. Now Allah, let me see if He's going to save me. Let me see if He's going to pull me out of this situation. A lot of times we believe that Allah is going to test us in our lives, but we also need to test our Creator. If Allah is saying that if you give charity, that I'm going to increase your wealth, I'm going to make your situation even better, we have to test. Let me actually give a significant amount of my wealth, not so much that I'm in the poorhouse, of course, but a significant amount. Let me really give. And then let me see if Allah has my back. So this is a very important element as well, my brothers and sisters, that we have to put ourselves into a little bit of discomfort so that then we see, is Allah really going to have my back or not? Inshallah, we do dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will give us this very high state of tawakkul. This was the end of the speech that I had prepared for last night. So let us move on, inshallah, to the topic for tonight. I know that my time is a little bit limited, so I'm not going to be able to go fully into this topic tonight. But I wanted to go, inshallah, a little bit, and inshallah we will end it here tonight. The topic that I was going to speak about tonight was in regards to our connection with our Imam. Tonight, as you all know, is the birth anniversary of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. When I begin to think back on Imam Hassan alayhi salam and the issues that he went through, and then I think about the issues that his father Amir al-Mu'mineen he went through, and then I begin to think about the issues that his brother Imam Hussein went through, it really breaks my heart. And I wish that if I could have been there, perhaps I could have been of some service to my Imam. Perhaps I could have done something. I could have made their lives easier. Perhaps I could have made those difficulties that they had to bear, I could have made those a little bit easier. When I think back especially about what happened to his brother Imam Hussein on the plains of Karbala, this is another thing that really breaks our hearts. There isn't any Shia, my brothers and sisters, that when they hear the name of Imam Hussein, their heart breaks. In fact, one of the ways that we are supposed to test the state of our spirituality is been mentioned that say the name of Imam Hussein 3 times. If you don't feel that rush of emotion, if you don't feel the tears coming to your eyes, then it's good to begin to focus on yourself and begin to fine-tune that spiritual state that I have within myself. So when we think back to these Imams, when we think back to the Ahlul Bayt and the situations that they went through, we oftentimes wish that, okay, if I was only there, I could have helped them. But at the same time, we begin to forget, my brothers and sisters, that we too, we have an Imam. An Imam that is a living, a breathing Imam. An Imam that is the cause for the nur of the heavens and the earth. An Imam that the reason that he has been forced into this state of hiding is because we're not yet ready for him. So here I just wanted to mention a few points. The first point was that we are in a state which we know as intidar. This state of intidar is a state of awaiting the Imam, awaiting that time when he's finally going to come and he's finally going to fill this earth with justice as it was filled with injustice. In a hadith from Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, we see that the Imam, he has this hadith in regards to the state of intidar. And the Imam, he says, the person from among you who dies while awaiting this command. What is this command? It is the advent of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. He says, the person from amongst you who dies while awaiting this command is like the person who is with al-qa'im in his tent. Imagine that you are of such a high rank that you are with your Imam in the same tent. But the Imam suddenly, he stops here. He says, no, rather, he would be like a person who was fighting alongside his Imam with his sword. Now the rank goes even higher, that the one who dies from amongst you while you are in this state of intidar, he says, number one, he is like the one who is with al-qa'im in his tent. Then he says, no, in fact, it would be even higher. It would be like the person who is fighting alongside him on the battlefield with his sword. But the Imam, he doesn't stop here. He says, no, rather, by Allah, he would be like the person who attained martyrdom alongside the Messenger of Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What is the Imam telling us here? Because it's a little bit of a strange hadith that he is saying that if you die in this world, while you are in the state of awaiting the command of your Imam, meaning that you are in a state of intidar, then the rank that you have is going to be as if you were with the Imam, with the Prophet. How do we understand this? Traditionally, my brothers and sisters, when there was this idea of awaiting the Imam, the traditional understanding among one segment of the Shias was that it was a type of passive awaiting. The idea that we had is just like you say that I'm waiting for an individual to come to my house. It means that you are sitting back and you are simply waiting for your Imam to come. But the scholars have looked at the meaning of these traditions and they've explained this concept in a very different way. What have the scholars said? The scholars have said that the true muntadir, the one who is truly in the state of waiting, they have said that it is an active state. The one who is muntadir, the one who is in the state of intidar, he has prepared himself to actually be with his Imam. Meaning that if I look at a person who is in the state of intidar, someone who is being truthful, they have spiritually prepared themselves that if my Imam comes right now, I will be ready to join my Imam. They have physically prepared themselves that if my Imam comes, I can join him physically. They have financially prepared themselves that if my Imam comes, I will join him. They have prepared themselves emotionally, psychologically, from every perspective that I think of. The one who is in a state of intidar, he has prepared himself that if his Imam comes right now, he will join his Imam right now. A lot of times when we say that we are in a state of intidar, that we are waiting for our Imam, we're not really being truthful. Because we're not ready spiritually, we're not ready physically, we're not ready financially, we're not ready emotionally, we're not ready psychologically. So if I'm not ready and I call upon my Imam, as we do in the du'as that we perform, if my Imam was to come on a day like this, on a Friday like this, would I join him? Because this is the essence of the question. That if my Imam was to come today, would I join him? Let's go back to the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. You look at the people of Kufa, look at how many letters they sent to their Imam. It's been narrated that the letters were so much that the Imam was carrying huge sacks filled with these letters. But the people, they weren't ready, my brothers and sisters, that they weren't in that state of intidar, that when their Imam came, they were in two positions. Either they remained hiding in their homes until the danger was over with and the Imam had been killed, or they actually came out and they fought against the Imam because they realized that their material wealth and well-being was at stake. If we can attain this state of intidar, my brothers and sisters, then we can have the same spiritual rank as the one who is with his Imam. Even if we die before the Imam comes, Allah is going to give us that spiritual rank that you, although you passed away, although you weren't able to be with your Imam, I am going to give you the spiritual rank that it was as if you were with your Imam. It is as if you were fighting alongside your Imam. It is as if you were martyred in front of your Imam. Inshallah, Allah will give us this tawfiq of having this true state of intidar. Now here, there was a second point that I wanted to go over, and that is that if I want to be in this state of intidar, if I want to be one of those ones that is truthful, how can I achieve this state of being in this state of intidar? There's a few points that I wanted to mention, inshallah, my brothers and sisters, before ending tonight. The first point is that I have to be honest. Now, honesty has two aspects to it. On one hand is the honesty that is obvious to us all, that I need to be honest in my dealings with others, that if I sell something, I need to be honest in my financial dealings. If I speak, I need to be honest in the way that I speak. An individual who lies, he's not going to have this state of intidar. In hadith by Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, he mentions the importance of honesty, the important truthfulness, and he says that do not be fooled by the prayers or fasts of the people. What a strange thing. That a person can be praying, a person can be fasting. The Imam is saying, don't be fooled by these things that you see. Don't be fooled by the external. The Imam then continues and he says, for people sometimes become used to their prayers. They become used to their fasts. And if they stop, they feel a sense of uneasiness. The Imam then says, rather, you should test them by means of their truthfulness and their ability to safeguard the trusts. A lot of times we look at our prayers, we look at our fasts, and we think that that is the epitome of Iman. The Imam says, no, those are important. Fasting is important, salah is important, but he says that don't just look at that, because it's possible that a person has become used to it and he feels the sense of uneasiness if he stops. He says, rather look at his truthfulness, his honesty, and his ability to safeguard the trusts of the people. But is it enough just to be honest with others? Because I have seen individuals who are honest with others, but when it comes to themselves, they lack honesty with themselves. How? How is it that people can be honest with others, but they can lack in honesty with themselves? The reality is that it is very difficult for us to be honest with ourselves. It might be easy to be honest with others. You just have to speak the truth. You just have to not say anything which is a lie. But when it comes to examining myself truthfully, to looking within myself with honesty, examining myself the way that I truly am, this is one of the most difficult things which is possible. It requires a level of brutality with ourselves, that I can look at myself and I can say, these are my defects. These are my deficiencies. These are my strengths, but these are my weaknesses. If we are not able to be honest with ourselves, my brothers and sisters, then there is no way that we are going to be able to get ourselves into a state of readiness for our Imam. So the first point is that we have to be honest, not just with others, but with ourselves as well. The second character trait that I need, which is essential to this state of intidar, is the state of humility. Now, each and every one of you, you know that humility is a good quality. I don't think there's anyone that's going to argue that me being humble is a bad thing. When we look at the Holy Quran, the Quran is very clear on this. That it says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, that successful indeed are the believers. Who? Those who humble themselves in their prayers. Allah is giving this beautiful point, that successful indeed are the believers, those who, when they pray in utter humility. They're in the state of utter humility. Another verse in Surah Hadid, there's this verse which should shake our hearts. The verse, it says, is it not time yet for those who have Iman, that their hearts should be humbled for Allah's remembrance? So here, humility is one of these important aspects that the Quran mentions and the ahadith mention. And in another tradition from Imam Qadim alayhi salam, he mentions this point, that plants, they grow on soft soil and not on stones. Similarly, knowledge and wisdom, they sprout only in a humble heart and not in a heart filled with arrogance. Here it becomes clear, my brothers and sisters, that if I lack this state of humility in my heart, then what is it that I'm going to have in my heart? I'm going to have a level of arrogance. The problem with arrogance, other than how ugly it is when we see someone who is arrogant, the problem with arrogance in relation to awaiting the Imam is that it has two problems. The first is that it fails to allow us to see our own defects. Have you ever seen an individual that is arrogant? If you try to tell him, my brother, you have this issue that, and you're trying to say it in a very good way, that, you have this problem in the way that you do this. His arrogance is going to prevent him from seeing his own defect. He's going to say, no, that's actually not an issue. When we have this state of arrogance within us, it doesn't allow us to see our own defects the way that we are. As I mentioned earlier, preparing the grounds for the Imam, it takes courage. And it takes the humility to look at ourselves and to say that these are the problems that I have and this is how I'm going to fix them. The second issue with this lack of humility is that it fails to allow us to have the right intentions. How does this work? Imagine that someone has this state of arrogance. He lacks that state of humility. And he says that I'm going to do all of these things for the cause of my Imam. I'm going to build masajids. I'm going to build Islamic schools. I'm going to donate significant amounts of money to Islamic causes. But why is he doing this? If he lacks humility, he's doing it for the sake of his own ego. My brothers and sisters, if I have worked on the basis of ego my entire life, meaning that when I donated, I gave for my own sake. When I built the masjid, I built it so that people would praise me and people would look at me. What am I going to do when my Imam comes? The answer is that I'm going to fight against my Imam. Na'udhu billah. Why is it that if I have the state of arrogance, even if I did everything for the sake of my Imam on the basis of that ego, why is it that I would probably fight my Imam? The answer is that the Imam is coming to destroy all semblances of ego and that sense of arrogance. If you have built your entire life on that foundation of arrogance, on the foundation of ego, and a man comes and he says, I'm going to be building a society where all of that is going to be wiped away, are you going to join him? Now this issue becomes a little bit clearer, my brothers and sisters, that humility is one of the key characteristics that we need if we want to join our Imam. We have to look at ourselves deep within ourselves. Shahr Ramadan is the month of self-reflection. My time is coming to an end. I'm going to just mention the third point very briefly. And the third point is that if we want to be in the state of intidar, then one of the most it is being sourced from means of oppression. Of course, we can't go too far and we can't say, I need to control all of these things. The world that we live in is an imperfect world. We have to recognize this. We have to recognize that it is a world that we're not going to be able to do everything perfectly. There is going to be acts of oppression that is not going to be within our control. We're not going to be able to help. But what matters here, my brothers and sisters, is that we need to have a level of conscientiousness. I need to care. It needs to be an issue that I grapple with. It needs to be something that if I go to a store and I have the opportunity to buy something which has been sourced from non-oppression, then I need to make that choice. And through taking steps like this, my brothers and sisters, we can inshallah get ourselves into the state of intidar where we are waiting for our Imam, and when our Imam comes, we will truly be ready to join him inshallah. I'm going to end it here. My time is up. That just like people in the times past, they had their Imam. We too have an Imam, my brothers and sisters. Our Imam is waiting for us. He wants to help us. He wants to teach us. We have to be ready ourselves. Inshallah, we do dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives us this tawfiq of being those who are truly waiting for their Imam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accepts our a'mal and that He forgives us our sins in this holy month of Ramadan. This was my last night with you. And although I would have really preferred to be there with you, the situation this year was such, alhamdulillah. So I just wanted to ask for your forgiveness for any shortcomings that I may have shown. And inshallah, Allah will accept all of our acts of ibadah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dua of the 14th day of the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, the All-Compassionate, the All-Merciful. Allahumma la tu'akhidhni fihi bil-atharat. O Allah, on this day, do not punish me for my mistakes. وَأَقِلْنِي فِيهِ مِنَ الْخَطَايَا وَالْهَفَوَاتِ, and reduce my sins and mistakes. وَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي فِيهِ غَرَضًا لِلْبَلَايَا وَالْآفَاتِ, and do not make me the subject of trials and tribulations. بِعِزَّتِكَ يَا عِزَّ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, I ask you by your honor, O the honor of the Muslims. Brothers and sisters, the great lessons of today's dua. The first one is we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to punish for our mistakes. Therefore, we should not punish others for their mistakes. Second, we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to make us subject for tribulations and trials. What a beautiful dua we have from beloved Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen called Dua Kumail, we recite on Thursday nights. One of the beautiful sentences of this dua is Allahumma ghafir li dhunub allati tunzilul bala. O Allah, forgive me all those sins which I committed, and these sins are subject for your punishment and tribunals. Brothers and sisters, it's very important that we need to understand what are those sins. The first one is the one who attack the dignity and respect of the mu'min. The second one is haqqi ahle baits, and those who are undermining the haqqi ahle baits. May Allah include us with Ahlul Bayt. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا علي يا يا غفور يا رحيم أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه علي، وهو الشهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، منا علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار، في من تمن علي، وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, my congratulations to you all for the birthday and the milad of our noble Imam, the second Imam, Imam Hassan alayhi salam. May our life be sacrificed for him, inshallah. Today we're going to have a program, a very special program for the milad of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. We're going to begin, inshallah, this program with poetry recitation. First, we're going to have Brother Ali Haidar recite for us in Urdu. And after that, our dear brother Nuh is going to recite for us. And then we're going to conclude the program with a short speech by Maulana, inshallah. I would like to invite our dear brother Ali Haidar to recite Urdu poem with Sallu ala Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad. Allah.
منظر تو دیکھیے ذرا صبح بہار کا، منظر تو دیکھیے ذرا، منظر تو دیکھیے ذرا صبح بہار کا، زہرا کے گھر ہے نور نیا کردگار کا، زہرا کے گھر ہے نور نیا کردگار کا، در پر علی کے آ گئے اب مصر چھوڑ کر، در پر علی کے آ گئے اب مصر چھوڑ کر، یوسف بھی لینے صدقہ رخ زر نگار کا، یوسف بھی لینے صدقہ رخ زر نگار کا، ڈوبا ہے لفظ لفظ طہارت میں اس لیے، ڈوبا ہے لفظ لفظ طہارت میں اس لیے، قطرہ عطا ہوا ہے تیرے آبشار کا، قطرہ عطا ہوا ہے تیرے آبشار کا، تدبیر نو سے کاٹ دیے ہاتھ ظلم کے، تدبیر نو سے کاٹ دیے ہاتھ ظلم کے، نو کے قلم سے کام لیا ذوالفقار کا، نو کے قلم سے کام لیا ذوالفقار کا، قاسم کے بازوؤں میں شجاعت حسن کی ہے، قاسم کے بازوؤں میں شجاعت حسن کی ہے، یہ فوج شام و کوفہ ہے ذرہ غبار کا، یہ فوج شام و کوفہ ہے ذرہ غبار کا، کر لے گی کیا تراب جو بیٹھے ہوں بو تراب، کر لے گی کیا تراب جو بیٹھے ہو بو تراب خطرہ نہیں ہے ہم کو لحد کے فشار کا خطرہ نہیں ہے ہم کو لحد کے فشار کا حیدر کے دل کی ہے یہ تمنا میرے امام حیدر کے دل کی ہے یہ تمنا میرے امام چوموں میں سنگ جلد تمہارے مزار کا چوموں میں سنگ جلد تمہارے مزار کا منظر تو دیکھیے ذرا صبح بہار کا زہرا کے گھر ہے نور نیا کردگار کا
Thank you very much, Brother Ali Haidar, for the wonderful recitation. And now we're going to have our dear Brother Principal of Rise Academy, Brother Noor, and his daughter, inshallah, they're going to be reciting for us a poetry in English, inshallah.
امام مجتبی
یا حسن یا حسن
امام مجتبی
یا حسن یا حسن
The light of Fatima
یا حسن یا حسن
was born in Medina.
یا حسن یا حسن
The light of Fatima
یا حسن یا حسن
was born in Medina.
یا حسن یا حسن
امام مجتبی
یا حسن یا حسن
امام مجتبی
یا حسن یا حسن
the son of Murtaza,
یا حسن یا حسن
grandson of Mustafa,
یا حسن یا حسن
the son of Murtaza,
یا حسن یا حسن
grandson of Mustafa,
یا حسن یا حسن
Imam Mujtaba,
یا حسن یا حسن
Imam Mujtaba,
یا حسن یا حسن
the brother of Hussein,
یا حسن یا حسن
Aziz Alamain,
یا حسن یا حسن
the brother of Hussein,
یا حسن یا حسن
Aziz Alamain,
یا حسن یا حسن
Imam Mujtaba,
یا حسن یا حسن
Imam Mujtaba,
یا حسن یا حسن
Kareem Ahl Bayt,
یا حسن یا حسن
the one with the best trait.
یا حسن یا حسن
Kareem Ahl Bayt,
یا حسن یا حسن
the one with the best trait.
یا حسن یا حسن
Imam Mujtaba,
یا حسن یا حسن
Imam Mujtaba.
یا حسن یا حسن
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Brother Anu, the principal of Rise Academy, and our dear sister, Sister Ilya Asghari, who is also the one of the students in Rise Academy, and she's the daughter of Principal Dr. Noor. Thank you for the beautiful, wonderful recitation. And now we're going to have Brother Mahdi Farati He's going to be reciting, inshallah, he's going to be reciting a poem in Farsi, inshallah. Brother Mahdi, Bismillah.
ای شور دل شیدا فرزند ارشد مولا کریم آل پیغمبر هستی حضرت زهرا نیمه ما اومدی ای نور انجمن پیچیده تو یاسمون عطر یاسمن به عشق تو
Uh, Dear brothers and sisters, we apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having. We're trying our best to, inshallah, resolve it. And if you can please be just a little bit patient with us, and we're going to, inshallah, continue the program with the speech by Maulana, inshallah. Again, we're having just very small technical difficulties, and we'll, inshallah, be soon resolving it. As soon as that's resolved, we're going to continue the program. Just give us a few minutes, inshallah. Thank you very much. Inshallah, now we're going to continue the program with Maulana's speech. We're sorry that we weren't able to, for some reason, continue the audio by Brother Mahdi Farahati. I apologize to Brother Mahdi. Inshallah, we're going to have him recite for us some other time. We're not able to, for some reason, connect the audio directly from the phone source to the computer. So we apologize for that. But anyways, we're going to, inshallah, continue the program with the speech by Maulana. Please invite him with Sallu ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Allah. Salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أفوض أمري إلى الله والله بصير بالعباد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي الحمد والثناء لله رب العالمين والعون دائم على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك ونحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله وصدق رسوله وصدق ولي الكريم صلوات اللهم صل على محمد. Brothers and sisters, first and foremost, I would like to extend my tabrikat, tahiyat, my best wishes, congratulations to you all and all the Muslim Ummah, and especially you brothers and sisters, those who are watching on the eve of Milad of our Imam, beloved Imam, Imam Hassan Mujtaba. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and give strength and tawfiq to perform our duties and responsibilities, and to have him as our Imam and Shafi'r and our Qa'id al-Rahbar, our Mawla, our Aqa in all the aspects of life. Indeed, once again, when we talk and discuss about Milad and birth of our Imams, at one more time, a chance for us to re-evaluate ourselves and see our connections or any missing connections to our Imam. If we're able to establish a deeper, healthier, stronger connection towards Imam, that is something, inshallah, we can see more barakat and rahmat, inshallah. So, brothers and sisters, today is the 15th night of the month of Ramadan Mubarak, eve of the 15th, mashallah. 14 days of the month of Ramadan has gone. Half of the month of ni'mat, rahmat, blessings, bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gone. And remaining days are very special. Tonight will be beginning of a special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed noble Prophet of Islam, his grandson, our noble Prophet of Islam named Hassan. And then after a few days, we're going to have a nights of Qadr. Nights of Qadr. Subhanallah. When nights of Qadr comes, I know that all of us want to be in Medina, Mecca, Baytul Muqaddas, Karbala, Samara, Kadhimain, Najaf, Mashhad, and so on and so forth. Not only we cannot go to all of these places, even we cannot go to our masajids, our Islamic centers, Saba Islamic centers. I know that most of you, you're longing to go back to your life, normal life. I know that lots of family members feel that the kind of in prison, although you have all the luxuries, subhanallah, the eve of milad of our beloved Imam Hassan Mujtaba, Ruhi wa arwahul alameen al-maqdam al-fida. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless Shifa. So inshallah we can come out of this COVID-19 situation. And inshallah we can have all the ni'mat and rahmat, especially brothers and sisters. And inshallah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the dhuhur of Imam of our time now, and inshallah we can begin our great Shabhai Qadr, nights of Qadr, with the presence of Imam of our time. Subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. Inshallah. So, brothers and sisters, about Imam Hassan Mujtaba, there's a lots of ahadith and riwayat. We can talk and discuss for hours and hours and hours and hours. Days, weeks, months, and still we cannot reach to the kunh or the depth of the maqam of Imam Hassan Mujtaba. However, we can talk and discuss a little bit his practical life, the way he lived, the way he left a great legacy of his great akhlaq. Each and every Imam, they had a unique circumstances. But our beloved Imam Hassan Mujtaba, his trial, his test, his imtihan from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was different. His imtihan is not to give his life and become shaheeds only, no more than that. Subhanallah. His imtihan is to be in a position where he has to sacrifice his dignity and his respect to save Islam, to save the Quran, to represent the true message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just you can imagine that right now, those who are controlling the media, they can bring their own narratives. People, they will listen what they want to present, right? Those who are controlling the media. Back then, the time of the imamat of Imam Hassan Mujtaba, Ruhi wa arwahul alamin al-maqdam al-fida, the media was controlled by whom? Muawiyah, Bani Umayyah. Subhanallah. The factory of the fabrication of ahadith and riwayat was so strong. Subhanallah. The life of Imam Hassan Mujtaba today, if someone wants to go and research, you'll find that full of mistakes, fabrications, out of norm, has nothing to the true life of Imam Hassan Mujtaba. Although the name of Hassan was given to second Imam, first time in this entire history of mankind, to the second Imam, noble Prophet of Islam, the eve of 15th of Ramadan al-Mubarak, when the glad tidings news was given to noble Prophet Islam, he came to the house of Fatima Zahra and Ali, waiting for Hassan to be, to welcome him. When he took the baby Hassan, Sammahu Hassan, named after Hassan, and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the bounties and blessings. And he thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, maqam of Imam Hassan is what we can imagine. More than that, brothers and sisters, subhanallah, the one whose father was beloved Imam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ma'asum, and mother is Ma'asuma, Mukhaddara, Mutahhara, Zahra, Radiya, Mardiya, Dukhte Grami Islam, Shafi Yawm Jaza, Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha. And no one has this privilege before him to have this great background, to have from both sides Ma'asum, and to be nurtured in the hands of noble Prophet of Islam and Fatima Zahra and beloved Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Subhanallah. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to inshallah talk and discuss in tomorrow's speech before Maghrib. Inshallah, I'm going to continue about maqam of Imam Hassan Mujtaba and some of the very important point which we have to talk and discuss. Inshallah, I'm going to talk tomorrow. But for tonight, I want to give you some beautiful tips. Please go ahead and think that in today's circumstances, if Hassan Ruhi wa Arwahul Alamina li Maqdam al Fida, he is my Imam, I'm his Ma'mum, what is the compatibility and connection between me and him? In my real life, not lip service. What are the great qualities of Imam Hassan Mujtaba reflecting today how I am subject to the manifestation of the beautiful attributes of Imam Hassan Mujtaba? In what areas? Just think about that. And as all of us, we are living in our homes, may Allah bless us, give us strength and tawfiq to receive the barakat and rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. According to hadith and riwayats, if we have a dhikr of Ahlul Bayt, dhikr of Hassan, dhikr of Hussein, dhikr of Ali, and dhikr of our Imam of our time, all the Imams, noble lady, Fatima Zahra, Holy Prophet, and the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send the angels and malaik, and our homes will be full of lights. So I humbly request to you all, brothers and sisters, to make your home as a place for the qasidah and remembrance of Ahlul Bayt, remembrance of Imam Hassan. So inshallah, we can be among those who are congratulating in the hands of Holy Prophet for the milad and birth of noble Imam Hassan Mujtaba. I would like to conclude tonight's speech, brothers and sisters, beautiful saying of noble Prophet of Islam when he took the baby Hassan in his hands. He said, "Oh Allah, you be witness, I love him, and you love those love Hassan. So I love Hassan, therefore you, oh Allah, you love me. And not only I love Hassan, I love those who love Hassan. Therefore, oh Allah, you love me and those who love Hassan. Not only that, oh Allah, I love the lovers of Hassan. Not only those who love Hassan, the lovers of those who love Hassan also subject to receive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure and the pleasure of noble Prophet of Islam. اللهم إنا نسألك نعوذ باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله. اللهم أنزل علينا بركات رحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك. اللهم تقبل منا بسم الله العليم. اللهم عجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات بالأخص مرحومين الحاضرين، مخصوصا يوم مرحوم من المرحومات. الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم غير المغضوب عليهم